What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's going on with NIO, Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the economic data that's coming out for tomorrow, what's going on with their earnings that just came out, and what you should be watching for in the news for NIO, as I give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow. But before I break into all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500 into the account, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks. The offer ends in just 8 hours, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, looking at NIO, we got a nice double bottom like formation, trying to get this push. We're watching the 50 EMA as our resistance, and we'll see if we could break this or not. If we fail to break this, I'm going to be looking for a retracement back down to 5.5. If we do break this, we're going to be pushing all the way up towards 6 plus, all the way back up to the higher levels. Now, the formation on NIO is bullish. There's a very good chance this double bottom does lead to more upside, but just to be safe, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Now, what else is going to affect the market is not just the way NIO moves on its own, but also because of a lot of data. So I want to break down what data we should be watching for. Today, we had PCE come out. This was all aligned with expectations. So that's why the market ended up getting this little pop when we opened. It dropped a little bit, then came back up. And then for tomorrow, it's going to be Friday, March 1st, 2024, the first day of March. Please note that 15 minutes after the market opens, we have the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI coming out. Then at 10 a.m., all the data that's coming out is going to be out. We have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report, the ISM Manufacturing New Orders, the 5-year inflationary expectations, and lots of data from Michigan. After that, at 10:15 a.m., we have Logan, Waller, Bostic, all giving their speeches, not to mention Daly and Kugler, all giving their speeches from the Fed, so a bunch of Fed speakers after that. So that being said, we'll see what that causes for the markets. Expect some high volatility for the first 30 minutes. Then after that, I just want to mention that we have some earnings coming out. We have Fisker and Dell announcing their earnings right now. And then after that, tomorrow morning, we have Fubo TV and Plug. Two of the most important ones right now are Fisker and Dell, in my opinion. I'm not going to go over everything, just a couple of them. So Fisker ended up dropping quite a bit because overall, their growth is very concerning. So 2023 was a very challenging year for Fisker. Lots of delays with suppliers and issues like that. And they mentioned that the high interest rates are affecting them. However, moving forward for 2024, they mentioned that they may have to cut 15% of their workforce, and their overall numbers are not looking that great. They saw a loss of about $2.22 per share, with $272.9 million in revenue for 2023. And overall, that's like for the entire calendar year, quite a bit of a loss. Now, for 2024, they're saying that for the outlook, it's going to be much more conservative than what they saw in 2023, expecting to reach 20 to 22,000 Oceans worldwide. That's how many vehicles are going to sell. Not the best of news, not the strongest guidance. Earnings were quite okay. They did see a loss that was actually not as good as what we were expecting. So not the best of earnings, and this is actually not the best of news for them, which is why we saw the share price soar. Drop, sorry, it didn't soar, it dropped. Dell's share prices were the ones that soared 15% after beating earnings expectations. Basically, when you look at the numbers, you will see that we had some good results that came out. Specifically, we had about $2.20 adjusted EPS, which is better than expected, and then $22.32 billion in revenue, which is better than expectations as well. That's great news for them, as the company is showing some great growth and lots of strength moving forward. On top of this, we've been seeing a lot of growth in revenue. Other sectors were doing well. And then for the future, moving forward, they also mentioned that their strong AI optimized server momentum continues, with orders increasing nearly 40%. And they're expecting, once again, a very strong fiscal year. So strong earnings, good growth for 2025, and good stuff involving AI really helped them push, which is great news for them moving forward. So that's awesome news. Moving forward, there's also some news right over here that NIO stock, the EV dark horse, poised for a comeback. Once again, it's been on a wild ride, but it's on its way to make a nice comeback. We're going to be watching to see if it could help do a lot better over the next few weeks when earnings are reported. And we're going to be watching to see what data comes out. We're also going to be looking at some other things which make it a very good long-term play according to Investor Place, such as the fact that there are a lot of other companies out there investing billions into NIO. We're going to be looking for more royalties and growth, despite the fact that there are negative claims about it. Battery swapping has been made better with a lot of improvements being made with their new partnerships and such. They're also running 39 European swap stations, and they're going to be opening more in China, which could be even more useful. And it's a very, very unique business idea. They're working to get their products cheaper and to continue to grow. So I've seen a lot of positive news about battery swapping today, which is good news for NIO. On top of this, NIO also mentioned that it has active suspension equipped to the NIO ET9 with independent control on all four wheels, which makes the body adjustments with 6 degrees of freedom, giving it a lot more lucrative movement. So very, very awesome stuff. It's more adaptive, and that's awesome stuff for their improvements. The car could also shake to get rid of snow, which is some really, really cool features. So that's awesome. A lot of big improvements for the European market. 63 million in volume, above average. On top of this, I'm not seeing many changes here. I do want to note that the price-price ratio is starting to bounce a little bit. NIO is gaining a little bit of strength relative to the market, and then we'll see how it goes from here. Fridays were green about 53% of the time, so I hope we get a green day tomorrow, and we'll see what happens after that. But now, looking forward at NIO, I want to just talk about the share price before I break down anything else. So NIO is in a pretty good place right now. We're going to be watching to see if we get a bounce right over here. Watch the 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. If we break this, I'm going to be looking for a push towards $6. If we fail to break it, we could get a rejection. I'm going to be looking for that nice move going into tomorrow. Now, we have a nice double bottom-like pattern, so this does favor a potential bounce that could be coming. I think that there's a very good chance NIO will try to bounce and break out higher. So I'm going to be looking for a bounce, nice little breakout. Let's see if we get that for NIO, and we'll be watching to see how it goes. For Tesla, Tesla's looking a little bit weak on the 4-hour time frame. We have a triple top-like formation. Tesla has to break the 4-hour 200 EMA. We have to break 205 to remain bullish. If we fail to do so, expect it to come back down towards 197 and possibly even 192. If we lose 197, I think that 195 and 192 are coming. So we'll see if Tesla gets a bounce or not. It's looking a little bit weaker than expected. If we get bad news, be very careful. We also have a triple top, so be very careful with Tesla, and we'll see how it goes from there. For SPY has a potential bullish cross in the PPO on the 4-hour time frame. This looks very bullish. As we're continuing to push, I wouldn't be surprised if SPY tests the all-time high. If we break that, I think we're going to be pushing to 512. There is potential for it to break all-time highs again. We actually came just under them this morning, so we'll see if SPY could break 510 or not. We have some tight resistance up there. The last time we hit that, we ended up rejecting, so let's see how it reacts to this. If it breaks this, we're going to push even higher to 512. The chart looks bullish for now. For the QQQ, this is also looking quite good. We have a bullish cross in the PPO, but we're going to be approaching 440 as resistance. If we break that, 442 could come. If we fail to do so, we could retrace to about 436. So we'll have to see how it goes. Overall, there is bullish potential for this, and we'll see what happens after that. For the IWM, this is actually on the verge of retracing just a little bit. We'll see what happens when it tests 202. Could come down a little bit towards 202, then bounce, and we'll see what happens after that. Aapl, started off kind of weak. It still is looking kind of weak. We're barely just shuffling around 180. We need to get a bounce and get back with 182 to try to turn. Otherwise, it's just continuing to trade sideways. So it might just trade sideways around 180. It's not looking as strong as before. And we'll see what happens after that. Nvda is starting to show some life since we got a breakout today. We're nearing a bullish PPO crossover. Could test 800 if we break that. 807 is coming, which could help the QQQ. So there's some life on Nvda. It could help the market push higher, so we'll see how it goes from there. With that being said, I went over the majority of the tickers I typically go over, so we'll have to watch NIO very carefully at this 50 EMA. Does NIO get a rejection? Do we reject off the yellow trend line? Do we get this rejection off 5.75 and come back down to 5.5? Or do we break it? In my opinion, I would say that it's more likely we try to break it since we have a nice double bottom. And historically, these do tend to be bullish formations. So we could be looking for a move towards $6 plus. So we'll see if NIO could get that break. So we'll watch it very carefully. With that being said, thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks again, and peace out.